Raise your expectations. That's a pretty big subject, isn't it? Morning, everybody. It's Chris here at the 10 Cow Ranch. I got my old buddy King with me today, and we're going to just talk about expectations. Kind of a little different type of video that we've normally done, but there's been some things coming up that I feel like might be worth it. So when you talk about raising expectations, does that mean that you're raising expectations for your horse? Does that mean for the people in your circle of your life? Or does that mean for yourself? And I think today we're going to talk about all three of those things. So let's talk about the horse thing first. So my expectation for old King here, you know, I've raised him, and my expectation for him is that when we got a job to do, that I expect him to be a good working partner. When we got to go put cows in the corral, we got to go work some calves, or maybe we're just going to go spend the day on the mountain together and enjoy the mountain. That's my expectation for him, and he meets that expectation every time. He's only coming 5 years old right now, so he's a younger horse, but believe me, I've had horses in my world that they don't meet that expectation, and I don't let them in my circle. They're somewhere else. Don't care where they're at, really, because they're not part of my life. He's got an expectation for me. I take care of his feet, I take care of his teeth, and everything in between. Kept him fed, kept him watered, keep him healthy. That's what his expectation for me is. And you know, it's funny because when I have my local vet over, he cusses me a little bit. He goes, "You're feeding these horses too good." I told him, well, I thought fat was a pretty color on a horse. So anyway, we've had some jokes about that. So let's talk about the expectations of the people in your life. And I call it, you let them in your circle. My expectation is pretty high, people that I let in my circle. I don't let a lot in there. And you think about the people that you allow in that circle, big influence on your life. And you know, for me, I say I'm a grown man. I ride horses and shoot guns for a living. But people influence you in ways you don't understand. So the ability to for them to come into your life, for me, for my world, it's got to be pretty high. They've got to be the kind of people that, you know, that I allow into my life, and knowing that, you know, they're going to be an influence on me whether I want to, you know, consciously let that happen or not. It happens. You know, you think about young people that, you know, we've all said to our young people, I've got 4 adult children, and we're going to talk about them here in a minute, but we tell our young people, pick your friends, right? If you're going to pick friends that are doing the right thing, odds are you're going to do the right thing with them. You pick your friends that are, you know, drug and alcohol users, odds are you're going to become a drug and alcohol user yourself. So, and I think, you know, even to me as an adult, I feel like that is a pretty big decision to who you allow in your life. So, talk about my kids for just a minute. 4 adult kids. You know, as parents, especially at my age, we like to brag on our kids. 4 kids, every one of them are successful. 2 of them graduated college, 2 of them own their own businesses. Not sure how I could be more proud of all 4 of those kids. They've all 4 had challenges. My oldest daughter got in a bad car accident when she was 21, and that set her back for a minute. And she set expectations for herself, and she graduated college after that accident, and that was a challenge. And she did it, and I'm very, very proud of her. My only son, he has his own contracting business at 25 years old. We built him a new house last summer, so he's 25 years old, been married a few months, and they live in a brand new house, and he has a very successful contracting business. Could not be more proud. My other daughter graduated college with a nursing degree, bachelor's degree in nursing, I think is a more correct way to put it. And then my younger daughter owns her own business, and she's very successful. So, but I think as a parent, you know, me and my wife 100% on the same page. When our teenage children were going into those things, we sat them down and we told them what our expectations was. Expectations that you can't just graduate high school and say, "Here I am, world, take care of me." You have to have some secondary education of something. I didn't go to college, so I don't feel like I'm being too hypocritical. Went to a trade school. My son went to a trade school. My daughter, she's got a photography business, so that's a skill. So college is not the answer for everyone. And our world today is starving for skilled tradesmen. I work at a big industrial facility. I see our electricians, our mechanics, those folks. Yeah, that's a dying skill set right there of those. I mean, you talk about welders, mechanics, electricians, carpenters. Even with me and Carson building his house this year, we hired a lot of subcontractors, and I'll tell you, they are not that easy to find anymore. So I tell you, people that are my age, I'm 53, have such an influence on the young people around them. You tell a teenager that he is not worth anything, he believes you. My wife worked at the high school for many years, and her job was to work with students that were struggling with grades. They had people in their lives telling them that they were not worth anything, and they believed them. How sad. How sad was that? Those kids needed someone to tell them that they had value, and to tell them that they was worth something, and tell them that they could do it, to raise their expectations. And that's what my wife did. My wife is magic with children. I am not. She is. I guess that's why we work well together. But she could tell them kids that they had value, and tell them and teach them to raise their expectations, to tell them that set their expectations to own their own business, to graduate from college, to be successful citizens. And they listened, a lot of them. And of course there were some that fell through the cracks, but she was a big positive influence on them. So now let's talk about expectations for ourselves. Kind of back to that young person deal, that we can raise expectations for ourselves. Tell you a quick bit of my history. I've only really had 2 jobs in my entire life. I worked 15 plus years at a steel mill. I quit, tried my hand at my own business. I bought a convenience store. It failed miserably. Is that one of my proud moments in life? Absolutely not. Am I semi-ashamed of that? I am. I made some pretty bad decisions there. But you know what? I tried it. And I probably, if I wouldn't have tried it, I probably would have went through life with the regret of not trying to have my own business. But it failed miserably. Almost destroyed me financially, hard on the family, every which way. That was a really tough couple of years. So, for me, I'm almost at the end of my career, so I'm setting expectations for myself to try to retire a little bit early. I don't want to work till I'm 65 or 68 or whatever the full retirement age is going to be at that time. I'm hoping to do some things to retire early. So that's expectations I set for myself. I feel like that for me personally, I've made some mistakes. That convenience store, especially on the if you look solely at the financial side, it was a disaster, and I did a lot of things wrong. And I'm okay to admit that. But that's what we do, right? We make mistakes, we learn from them, and we move forward. And we, like I say, I feel like for me, I'm almost always change my expectations, trying to raise them. I heard a funny saying, and I can't, I'm sure I'll mess it up if I try to quote it word for word, but if you set your expectations low, you're probably going to meet them. And then at the end of the day, your expectations are low and met. I would rather set my expectations almost unreasonable. And if I get somewhere close, look where I'm at. The guy that I run cows with, we have a little joke between us. We say we plan 20 hours a day, or 20 hours worth of work in a 12-hour day. And if some magic situation happens that we get it all done, man, we've had a great day. We know it's probably not going to happen, but heck, if we don't plan for it, we're guaranteed it's not going to happen. So that's kind of part of that, setting expectations also. So anyway, we're going to wrap up the video today. I kind of had some things come up recently in my life, and I thought, that might be something worth sharing. But I'll tell you, we need to invest in our young people. We really do. And like I say, I'm 53. My 4 children are raised, and they're well on their way to success. But if we can have influence on our next generation, boy, let's build these people up. These young people need it. They're bombarded with negativity constantly. And if we, in our age group, folks, can do something to help them and help build them up and help them have some confidence that they can go out and try things and be successful and set those expectations high. And if you don't quite meet them, all right, look where you're at. You set your expectations clear down here and you meet them, look where you're at. So anyway, we're gonna wrap it up for today. I want to tell everybody thanks for subscribing. We've had some great growth in the channel lately, and if you're watching this and you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button, and let's keep growing the channel. So have a good day, everyone.